Hello, friends. This is Professor Forkner coming at you live from week 4. Week 4 of 8. Yes, we are halfway through. It's only going to get faster from here, everybody. So fasten your seatbelts because you're in for a wild ride. All right, welcome back to Discussion Board. We took a week off last week due to the workload, but welcome back. Before we dive in, I'd like to just touch on a few things, revisiting some of our ye old Discussion Board ground rules, okay? Just in case we've forgotten a few of them. I think that these will be very helpful to you as you dive back in. Okay, rule number one. I'd like you to use Grammarly. Use Grammarly. Why don't you have this installed on your computer? Grammarly is an extremely helpful tool. It is free. You are a student at Regent. It is free to you. All the other plebs out there have to pay for it and buy it. Not you, you clever student. You get it for free. Please, if you do not have this installed on your laptop, if you do not have it installed in Microsoft Word or or you can even put it in your web browser, why not? Why not? If you're using it and you think, well, all it's doing is basically catching my spelling, you may not be using it fully. What you need to do is, I wish this was Zoom because then I could share my screen. What you need to do is you need to look, when you've got Microsoft Word open, those of you who are using Word, you'll look for a light green circle. It's like a button at the top corner of your screen, and it's got a little arrow inside of it, and underneath it says Open Grammarly. Click on that, and a side window will open, and it'll do some computations and calculations, and then all of a sudden it'll spit out a whole list of suggestions for you. It'll catch little punctuation, grammar mistakes, all these little things that are slipping past you. Make lots of suggestions about perhaps you'd like to change the way that you've said this. Perhaps you'd like to use some different things here. It'll give you a lot of different toys to play with. I strongly encourage you to use Grammarly. It is a great tool, great help in writing your essays. All right, number 2. Now that you have been through the short essays, I hope you're starting to see why I've asked that your discussion board posts be written the way that I've asked you to write them, which is as in that long paragraph form that you saw in the assignment description for the essay assignment that you just completed. Okay, this in contrast to some of you are writing your response posts especially as emails or in letter form. So you're starting with dear so and so, da 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 da, and you're writing it like you're writing a letter, and then sincerely yours, George Washington. That's lovely, but for the sake of this class, I'm asking you to do something different here. While that may be fun, that's probably more than okay for your other classes. For this class, I want you to treat your posts and your responses like you're writing a little paragraph that belongs in an essay. Okay? If you will get into the habit of writing these long paragraphs, you will find that as we go back into writing more of these essays in this class, that it's a lot easier because you have already been writing in this form, okay? So please make sure that you're writing in that long paragraph form as opposed to something that is more like an email or a letter form, okay? Connected to that, try to keep your words of affirmation to your classmates, what I call the Valentine section of your post, separate from the meat of your post. Okay, what I mean by that is, I'm more than happy. It's for you to talk to each other directly, to express how much you admire each other, to soften the blow of what you're about to say by talking about how you think that they've got such cute shoes and all of that sort of thing. That's all stuff, those words of affirmation and praise, I would like those to try and keep those separate. Keep them in a little section at the very top of your post. Then hit enter twice, and then begin your formal post. Okay, your formal response post. Again, written in that kind of paragraph form. So in the words of affirmation, you can address directly the person that you're responding to, but then I'd like you to shift, and in the meat of your formal response, please try to address the ideas that the poster brought up. All right, we're always so afraid, we're so polite, that we're going to say something that's offensive or mean or suggest that maybe that person is wrong, which is why go ahead and say the nice things up here, and then take apart the idea that you're seeing in your formal response. Does that make sense? I hope it makes sense. I'm always afraid that I don't make any sense. Another thing is this is tricky. This is tricky because research and aesthetics, more than any of the other classes that I'm aware of in the online MA program, is the ultimate writing course. They hooked me in because they found out that I had some experience working at the writing center for half a semester when I was an on-campus student, and they said, we need you to do this one, and I'm like, okay. So this course, more than text analysis, even more than theater and culture, this one is a writing course, and we're trying to get your writing up to that scholarly level. And so that means a couple of things. You may have noticed, this is what drives me crazy. You may have noticed that several of the discussion board prompts, in fact, I think it's kind of all of them, really, are asking you for your opinion. And those of you who paid attention in your English class in high school will tell me that, well, that's crazy. You're not supposed to speak in first person when you're writing a scholarly, persuasive essay like this. You're not supposed to say, I think da 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 da, or I feel da 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 da. You're not supposed to do that. And I would say you're absolutely right. Okay, fair enough. I'm not going to go change all of Professor LaHaye's posts that he went through all the trouble to compose. But what I will say is maybe we can find the happy medium. So, if the discussion board post is asking you for what you think, feel free to use the first person pronouns. But then what I'd love to see you do is, once you've stated what you think, I'd love to see you jump or shift into talking from subjective opinion into objective facts that support your opinion. All right. So if the discussion board prompt is going to ask you about the works of Bertolt Brecht or The Good Person of Szechuan that you're going to be reading, and what do you think about it? What is it that you think, and what is it that you want to talk about? So you could begin by saying, I think da 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 da, and here's why. And now we're going to just talk about The Good Person of Szechuan by Bertolt Brecht, right? So we always want to try and get the focus off of ourselves and onto the thing that we're talking about, okay? Again, it's not a life or death sort of thing. That's one of the downfalls of some of these posts, is that they are asking you specifically for what do you think, which it's like, ugh, we're trying to write in a scholarly way. It's a little tricky. So try to keep the focus as much as you can. Try to take that spotlight off of yourself and then focus it onto the thing that you want to talk about. Okay. And then one other thing that I saw for several of you is that when you are writing a post, when you're writing a response post, if you're not including a source, if you're not citing a source, then your post is more like a post on Facebook. Citation needed, and it fails to be that scholar to reach that scholarly level that we're talking about. Your academic writing relies on citations and backing up what you're saying by citing someone else who a published author. So that you can support your statement and say, I didn't just come up with this. See, this guy says it too. So if you are not if you're not citing something, then it's basically, oh, that's a nice opinion, but says who? And this is one of the reasons why you're reading so much, so that you can cite. You have lots to pull from when you write your responses to your classmates. Okay. Other little things. I'm noticing. Make sure that you are using the proper format when dealing with book and play titles. Book and play titles are always italicized. I noticed several of you are citing from the Bible. Make sure you're looking up how to properly cite from the Bible using MLA. And also, when you talk about the Bible, if we're talking about the Holy Bible, that's capital B. I can't tell you how many posts I saw that used a lowercase b in the Bible. That's the book for me. That's capital B. That's a very important book, and that's an important one for you to make sure that you get the capital on that one. All right, so I think that will take care of it. I think that'll take care of that. So once again, make sure you're using Grammarly, even on these discussion board posts, because we want your writing to be. We're going to elevate your writing into that next level. So if your writing is really informal, let's see if we can bump it up. We can be informal when you're in my text analysis class. Number 2, make sure that you're writing in that long paragraph form like you did with your short essay, rather than in an email form, which is not really what we're doing here. We're not after that. I'm trying to help you by making your lives easier. As you get into these other essays, making sure that you're keeping your words of affirmation separate from the body of your response, and also making sure that you're citing at least one source per post. Okay, if you're not citing a source, it's just like sending a text message or an email to a friend, and that's great and all, but it's not scholarly, it's not academic. Okay, so I hope that was helpful to hear, and I will see y'all in your posts. Bye bye, everyone.